Hey, what's going on, friends? Family, my name's Skylent, and the family's actually getting bigger than ever. We're gonna hit 100K probably soon here. I don't know, maybe I'm just shooting shit, but basically, if you want to sub, do it, dude, or bump the thumb, whatever, YouTube stuff. Talking about today, the best B free-to-play games. You might have clicked that list, maybe not knowing what that meant. Like, what? What's going on? These are games that have AAA alternatives, or there's a bunch of other free-to-play games that kind of do what they do, but these are the ones that they might be lower production value, or they might be more minimalistic, or what have you. They might be more straightforward, or they might be more niche, what have you. These are games that have definitely a giant shadow overhanging them in their own respective genres, but they're still genuinely fun free-to-play games. Now, some of them range from mixed reviews to like, oh my god, this is actually an amazing game, like everyone can love it, but I think somewhere, somehow, I'm gonna find someone that wants to play these games, okay? So, the best B-rated, okay, free-to-play games that maybe they don't make a lot of lists, or a lot of people don't talk about them, but maybe they should. Let's do it. Let's talk about Brawlhalla, guys. So Brawlhalla actually this past year has just freaking exploded. Maybe a little bit because Smash kind of sucks online and that's all we can do right now. But Brawlhalla even before that was really gaining traction as the free-to-play platform fighter. They were always consistent with adding in new fighters, new updates, and also supporting the esports scene. If you go on YouTube, you can see the view counts are really good and maybe actually gaining traction, especially now because this game is in the top 10 of Steam's most played for free-to-play, and it was always kind of on the cuff, like top 15, maybe sometimes 11. It would sometimes be number 10, but now, no, it's a legitimate contender as some of the most popular free-to-play games that you can find. Also being a platform fighter, so that's unique. It's not a Smash clone. It's really the one platform fighter that I can say is not a clone. It's very different, especially with the weapon mechanics, the way it feels and the way it looks. Yeah, it's a platform fighter, but it's not a Smash clone. Now, I've played a lot of most other, if not every other, especially like Rivals of Aether, which is very, very inspired by Smash Bros. But I'm telling you, you can totally pair Brawlhalla with Smash Bros. Especially if you want to play online and it's free, and you can play like on most devices, cross-platform. Just be like, hey, little cuz, or brother, sister, friend, guy from person I want to talk to but I can't because COVID. Let's play some games. Brawlhalla is totally like the free online party game that you can jam to, but it also has competitive merit, like for real, for serious. Anyways, it's fun, it's ridiculous. For me, I gotta say the art style is definitely a turnoff. That's why it's a B rating, because it's just like this cheesy platform fighter. But in terms of mechanics, it's actually the most unique and competitive out of all of them. Aside from Smash. Okay, so number 4, we actually have maybe the most dubious example on the list. I would love to promote, I think, PlanetSide here, but PlanetSide is technically like the only game in its genre, so Heroes and Generals is gonna have to fit. And basically, this is a Battlefield clone. Maybe one of the more older Battlefields where it's like literally like a World War I or World War II shooters, stuff like that. Yeah, if you don't want to play Battlefield 1 or one of the newer ones, frankly, even Battlefield itself has really fallen from grace. So Heroes and Generals is really a cool game to jump into that you'll find some matches and jam. The progression system's really wacky and wonky. I don't know. It is a free-to-play game, and then also like there's not too much variability with the maps, with the design. It's very straightforward, but it is a Battlefield-like game. You jump in, old school shoot 'em up. But a lot of people, big team battle. Let's go. Not too many free-to-play games do that. There's like, I don't know, a few IO games that kind of do it, and I could put those on the list, but Heroes and Generals, even though it's at mixed reviews, is the one that really actually looks pretty great. It plays generally pretty fun, and in terms of like a historic shooter, how many do we have of that too? So Heroes, yeah, I think it's interesting. Now, there is some weird gimmick about how it's kind of a soft MMO, sort of. It's got this metamap thing. There's commanders, I guess, and the commanders can choose where resources go. I don't know. There's kind of layers of bullshit in this game, to be honest, which is why it has mixed reviews. But if you just want to jump in with some friends and have a time in a historical big team battle shooter, drive tanks into people's faces or snipe people through the woods, yeah, that's gonna be this game. There's no other free-to-play game like this exactly. At least until Enlisted comes out. Enlisted is a brand new game that is more inspired by OG Battlefield games, but for now, Heroes and Generals is still a pretty unique take on the genre. And totally free right now, you can play. Halfway on the list, Neverwinter. So Neverwinter actually is pretty special. You know, a lot of these games are special. They have their things that make them shine. That's why it's in a best list, right? But Neverwinter, a lot of the times, it actually is competing, even though it's not a full, giant, proper MMO. It does compete with games like World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV and a bunch of other dungeon divers. I mean, even from obscure Asian games like Dungeon Fighter Online. See, Neverwinter is really cool to pick some classes and run and gun, basically, with your friends. It's a really fun game to play with friends, especially on PlayStation. You can jam to it, sure. But people play mostly Final Fantasy XIV and run the endgame dungeons, or play World of Warcraft and run those endgame dungeons. And again, there are a plethora of other sort of dungeon divey action RPGs. In fact, I cover them. I do lots of list videos on those. People play stuff like Monster Hunter even. So even though they're kind of different, they do in ways they take from the audience of Neverwinter. But often the case, I do get asked, hey, what are games like this but free? And it always boils down to them admitting that, oh, you know, me and the boys, we picked Neverwinter. That's the game we're going to play. So that's the one I'm going to choose here. I probably could have put some other game on here, maybe like Dragon Nest. I think Dragon Nest is an amazing B game, sure, whatever. Vindictus, but no, Neverwinter is the one that is really the one that more closely relates to, I think, the other AAA games, and the one that's a little bit easier to jump into. So I think I appreciate it. You know, the cleric class was interesting to me. I like how every class has like their own unique dodge mechanics, and there are some special party play mechanics. Not as much as you would expect from, I think, like Dungeons and Dragons Online had way more unique RPG mechanics and more pen and paper inspired mechanics. Neverwinter really is kind of like a beat 'em up sort of thing. Like you jump into a dungeon and you just slap shit. Okay, so that's what it is. And in that, there's a lot of competition, especially AAA competition, but it still kind of has its own unique flavor that I think more people should try, especially if you are playing on consoles. So if you were considering, oh, do I want to play Final Fantasy XIV or free to play Neverwinter? Honestly, for a weekend or for a month, Neverwinter is hands down my choice. Alright guys, another MMO though has made the list, Adventure Quest 3D. Now in a lot of ways this looks kind of WoWish, you know, it looks kind of like a WoW clone, it's not. Adventure Quest 3D in so many ways is so cheesy, it's very minimalistic, it's so straightforward, it's so weird, and it kind of looks childish. But let me tell you guys, every time I talk about this game I gotta say it, this game is meant to be played around its meta events, played really like a community. Adventure Quest 3D isn't just a game that you just run through, it's kind of a world that you always log into, you always play. It's almost like a 3D Discord in a lot of instances. And the developers they actually play their game constantly. I actually had a tour with the developers around this game. We fought like a giant dragon chicken. It was a hilarious time. And they've actually added updates where there's like in-game concerts and stuff. And that's something you see in Fortnite or much larger games that World of Warcraft and stuff barely. Most MMOs don't do stuff like that. So Adventure Quest 3D is all about that social engagement. And if you play MMOs for that reason, dude, this game is actually like incredibly high quality. It just doesn't look AAA. It totally is a B MMO, but at the same time, it is one of the more unique MMOs out there, despite the fact that it does look kind of clonish and cheesy. So I don't know. It's one of those games that you definitely have to try for yourself and really give a shot and actually play with your friends and try to join the community and actually talk with people. You know, like actually communicate a little bit. Who'd imagine that inside of an MMO? And yeah, sure, you could probably mention a lot of other kind of smaller MMO like Toontown Rewritten. Absolutely. No, there's a lot of these cool, more socially focused games, but for my choice, that competes with AAA games, Adventure Quest 3D. Oh yeah, and bonus points that you can also play it on mobile devices. So yeah, actually in terms of mobile MMO, you could probably say this is AAA. And finally, the game that inspired this entire list is Krunker.io. Basically, Krunker, I think, in a lot of ways, it's Call of Duty, dude. It's run, gun. It actually has more sophisticated physics than Call of Duty, debatably. It doesn't quite have like the crazy customization or anything like that. But Krunker legitimately is kind of like Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, but like it almost goes as fast as Quake. Like if you watch really good people, it's as fast as Quake. It's so insane. But now Krunker also is making this list, even though it's a B game and it's like, oh yeah, this is a Call of Duty clone. There's shit like this on Roblox, whatever. Dude, it performs perfectly. It's a browser-based game, but you can also download it. Then on top of actually being debatably competitively viable, it also has mods that you could just log in and just play. So my favorite is the one where it's like mouth sounds for guns. Like people are literally like pew pew, you know, like they make sounds like that. To replace it, you get just instant skins and stuff like that. So you can just instantly mod your game and, you know, add-ons and play it. Then you also have custom games and custom servers where people have jump maps. There's like little fun mini games like it's like run from the sniper, shit like that. There's gun game, obviously. Like, it's a very fun mini game and kind of online party game experience. But then also it's just an incredibly solid shooter. And then also it's totally free to play, and it can be played in the browser, and it runs better than any other browser IO game I've ever played, let alone 3D shooter IO games. So Krunker is seriously legit. And I would want to say it's AAA in a lot of ways. Like, in a lot of ways, it actually is totally functional. But obviously, it's minimalistic, it's weird, it's cartoony, it's so free to play. Yeah, no, but in terms of B-rated games, it's like the best B-rated free-to-play game out there. Fight me. But yeah, that's my list, guys. I'm keeping the hype alive, and that was my 5 best B-rated free-to-play games. Some of them are, again, mixed reviews. Some of them are overwhelmingly positive. You know, they're all for different people, and there might be some games that kind of usurp them later on, like Heroes and Generals. Enlisted is coming out soon, and maybe there's going to be a new shooter browser-based game. I don't know. MMO is on the horizon. There's a lot of casual games coming out, so maybe Adventure Quest will fall down, but Adventure Quest has kind of been like, it's been a staple of the MMO community for years and years, so I don't know about that. But in the end, guys, I think these are all safe bets to play, at least now and probably for the next couple years. You should definitely give them a shot. But if there's any you think I missed, maybe, which makes sense because they're B games, they're not in the spotlight, then let us know in the comments below. But yeah, like, subscribe, bump the thumb, all that cool stuff, peel some eyeballs on the Patreon, give me some money. I don't know. Much love. See you in the next one.